So that's that on that. Now let's see. I haven't used this deck in a really long time, so it's actually kind of funny that it came forward to be used. But I do have both Celtic and East Slavic, which I'm now realizing is perhaps Prussian ancestry. And so, and it was just in Germany for my beloved Auntie Jane's memorial. So I'm seeing that maybe my European ancestors have a little bit more to say right now, which is fine. Particularly since they're usually not the ones who are communicating with you in the pagan ways are usually not the ones who were participating in colonialism, because there are generations and generations of ancestors that they had before that who were living completely differently, including outside of the church. Okay, so we have 3 cards, and these are the 3 cards of what I'm getting now. So let me check what time we are here. Okay, so this second half is going to be the July reading. Our concern, our opportunity, obstacle, and our advantage, aversion, and they're going to come from the Magos. So I will split this off so that the general populace of Patreon has this second part of the reading, and you'll have the first one. Interesting. Okay. So we begin our July reading with the Ace of Chalices. You see this young child drinking heartily from a cup, and getting every last drop, really, and then being crowned in a wreath of, I don't know what kind of flowers those are, but they're blue. And then we have some froggies at the top, and some more blue and purple, indigo, in fact, flowers at the bottom. And so we have the Ace of Cups, ultimate fulfillment, victory, success, bounty. I wouldn't say achievement. I think that's more of a Wands, sort of Pentacles perspective, or even a Swords perspective. But like fulfillment, ultimate fulfillment. Again, on this manifestation tip, we're dealing with the Ace of Chalices coming in as the concern, because ultimately, like, now that things are going back to what we call quote unquote normal, whatever that means, because I know that normal etymology means carpenter square, and we know not all houses were square, and we know back in the day there was no standard of that, because from village to village there were different kind of carpenter squares, but I digress. So, the concern here is, okay, if everything's going back to routine and I'm supposed to go back to whatever aspect of my life remains from before COVID and all these things and quarantine, then, what actually is fulfilling me, and do the things that I used to do that I thought I was missing, or that I've been missing in my life since COVID started, now that I'm engaging in them again, do they actually fulfill me? And if they don't actually fulfill me, then what is supposed to fulfill me? Because absolutely, we are supposed to feel fulfilled. We are beings, we are material. We are supposed to take up space. We are supposed to take up the physical space that we actually do. And we're supposed to take up the physical lives and the timelines that we actually do. So fulfillment and wholeness is absolutely a part of the cards for us. Cards, get it? Anyway, so I just think it's beautiful to start July off with the concern of, like, what is really fulfilling me? What is nourishing me? What is sustaining me? What provides me with the sort of lubrication, a bounty, alignment, totality of experience that I feel that when I'm not happy, I'm missing? Because, we don't really know what's in this cup. We don't know what's in this cup. We don't know if it's water. We don't know if it's poison. We don't know if it's arsenic. Like, this cup isn't inherently positive if we don't allow it to be. We can also have, as Bashar would say, an abundance of lack, an abundance of distrust, an abundance of misery. We can have an abundance of things that we do not prefer. But in this cup, we're hoping that we have distilled something that truly is nourishing, something that truly is sustaining, something that truly is hydrating, something that truly keeps us lubricated and ready and aligned and at and with the opportunities that are showing up for us to be experienced. Excuse me. Our opportunity obstacle is also in the cups, and we have the 9 of Chalices. We see we have 2 elven-looking women, and they seem to have a book of paganry, and we have 9 chalices at the bottom, and it's almost like a, you know, and there's an informality in this card, which is true, you know, with the 9 of Cups, especially as an opportunity obstacle card, we're really looking at, all right, well, I do all that I do to survive or to be happy or to feel fulfilled or to make others happy. You know, whatever drives our existences, whatever encourages us to do the behavior that we allow to make up our lives. These are the things that we casually or formally or whatever in between decide to incorporate into our lived experience to the point that it becomes our lives, it becomes our character, it becomes our memories, it becomes our identity. And so with the 9 of Chalices, it's really important in the opportunity obstacle position that we understand that, like, whether we are satisfied or not, whether we find success and resources and riches, the only thing that really determines that for us is our perspective, our desire, and our belief about what is warranted behavior. Because the 9 of Chalices can speak traditionally to, you know, satisfying your own interests, but it can also represent sort of like a stinginess or a lack of regard for others. And I think that this has a lot to do with the nature of things, right? We're dealing with cups, emotional intelligence. As we know, if we've been following me for a while, I think of emotional intelligence as a 4-step process. Step 1, you feel away. Step 2, you recognize you feel away. Step 3, recognizing that you feel away, you look back at your personal history and see how your experiences might have helped you arrive at the feeling that you have recognized that you have felt. And then step 4 is, after the first 3, you act. You act based on the first 3 and decide how you're going to act based on how you feel, recognizing how you feel, and recognizing the experiences that have led you to those feelings. But we know in a white cis heteropatriarchal world, we're really only learning steps 1 and 4. I feel, I react, I feel, I react. And so it's rage. It's rage and a lack of accountability in between for how we get from how we feel to how we act. So it's like, if you feel valueless, if you feel scarce, if you feel insecure, then you might take work or do things that perpetuate that and uphold that belief. I am valueless. I am insecure. I do not have a good sense of my own worthiness of being. And so the choices that you think are absolutely must be done become maybe unfavorable because you're doing them from a perspective of believing that you don't have a choice of doing things that make you feel valuable, that make you feel worthwhile, that make you feel like you have every right to your existence. And so the opportunity and obstacle in this cups, which deals with our creativity and our one-on-one relationships and our families, is whether or not you really allow yourself to live and do the things that you actually find fulfillment in. And if you don't, then the selfishness in this card is that you are signing up with your behavior and your actions for things that you are not aligned with and don't believe in. And you are saying that you have to do this because existence is this way, or existence makes it so. But you are the aspect of existence that makes the choices, that does the picking. Doesn't mean you decide all the choices you ever choose or all the things that you ever picked, but from whatever you're presented with, you choose a direction. Existence doesn't do that for you. Existence may emphasize a direction, but you are ultimately the one who gives into that direction, whether or not you prefer it. And so the conversation with existence becomes like, well, what do you actually think is of value? And will you incorporate those things into your life? Or will you decide that you don't have value, so the things that you think of are of value cannot be incorporated into your life? And therefore, even though you want to be of value, your life is devoid of value because you believe that you are devoid of value, and therefore you act as if you are devoid of value. It's very much always going to be emotional intelligence. It's always going to be about how we allow ourselves to behave. And the ways that we allow ourselves to behave are based upon our beliefs, because our beliefs then influence our feelings, and our feelings then influence our behavior. So that we have, finally, in the advantage aversion section, we jump from cups to pentacles, and not just pentacles, we go to Daddy Pentacles themselves. And as we see, we have this very severe, stern-looking bearded man. And he's got a coin in his hand, a big-ass coin. And then he's got two little effigies of these little wise men clutching probably their little coin purses to their chest. And this is in the advantage aversion, right? Our advantage aversion, whereas our opportunity and obstacle are those things outside of us that we allow to help us or hinder us. Meaning like this job, this relationship, this family member, this apartment, this circumstance going on in my life right now is the thing that keeps me from being the version of myself that I most prefer, but I'm going to keep doing this behavior that keeps me from being the version of myself that I most prefer because I believe I don't get to be the version of myself that I most prefer. That's opportunity obstacle. Advantage aversion is more like, what about my own character helps me become more of what I prefer, or is to my detriment and does not allow me to become more of what I prefer? And with the King of Pentacles, our suit of the environment, our suit of our conscious body, our intellectual body, our erotic body, our spiritual body, our emotional body, all of our body, is because we imagine that our consciousness is housed within the body, even though it is the body housed within our consciousness. And so, you know, the suit of Pentacles also rules reaping what we sow. Money, finances, foundation, lineage, family, ancestors, because we literally live on an enclosed earth, which means that everybody who ever died on earth still exists on earth in some way, shape, or form, memory-wise, materially. They are the air, they are the water, they are the fire, they are the earth, they are the spirit. And so, you know, unless you guys know of some human that was launched into space, everybody who has ever died on Earth is still on Earth. At least in their physical form has, their physical form, my beliefs stuck in there. Their physical form has perpetuated on Earth and has created what has come after it, including our own bodies and everything else, that soil, all these things. So to have the big Daddy Pentacles in our advantage aversion, and this structural fraternal energy of organization, this my brother's keeper energy, this, hey, what are you doing? Let me see how those finances are organized. Let me see how that behavior is perpetuated. Let me see how those emotions are gotten to. This is what the King of Pentacles does, because in my opinion, it rules the environment. But if our consciousness is housed within our body, then every kind of body that we have is also attached to the consciousness. So the King of Pentacles is here to really ask you, are you taking stock of your behavior? Are you taking stock of your beliefs? Are you taking stock of your emotions? And are the behaviors, beliefs, and emotions and feelings actually equivalent to what you prefer? And if they're not what you prefer, then as the king, as the parental daddy figure in this situation, it is then your responsibility to take the circumstances by the hands and change course, because it is for the king to decide what actions must be taken. The queen energy is the advisement energy. It's relationship energy. It's like the king to the queen, the king to the jack, you know, the king to the knight, the king to the subjects. It's the queen regulating that and asking all the important questions. Why are you doing that? Or why are you behaving that way? But it's for the king to execute on those conversations and to ensure that the kingdom is actually working the way that it was instructed from on high, from the kings. So it's like, if you're saying you want a certain life, and then you're not operating in the kingdom of yourself so that that life is constructed, that's an issue with the king. That's an issue with your crown. That's an issue with your head. And so if your Ori, as we say in Ifa, is not aligned with your character, meaning the things that you actually do in life, that is a self-to-self problem. That ain't a problem no one else created for you. You're the one who has agreed to allow your character and your personality to be two different things. You're the only one in there, so no one else can make those two things differentiated but you. People can influence you, people can oppress us, but they cannot decide for us how in alignment we are with our purpose and our destiny. So when it comes to the king coming up after the Ace of Cups, what we want for fulfillment, and the Nine of Chalices, all the behaviors and the things that we do in order to feel fulfilled, then the King of Pentacles comes in as the advantage version of our character to be like, okay, and if the things aren't the way that you want, and if there's too much distortion between the way your existence is lived and what you imagine that you desire, what are you going to do to fix the monarchy? What are you going to do to fix the kingdom? Are you going to call in wise people from other nations? Are you going to, remint the money and the coins? Are you going to change the form of governance? Are you going to give another aspect of your character, the page, the knight, the queen, the 10? Are you going to give the other aspects, the stronger aspects, the ability to do the ruling so the king can become a better ruler? Because maybe the king needs a sabbatical because the king doesn't know how to rule anymore and also needs a vacation. So it's like you are the designator and the doer. You are the picker of your beliefs. And if you will not change the way you pick, and you will not change the way you believe. If you will not change the way that you feel, then you will not change the way that you emote things. If you will not change your behavior, then you will not change your modus of doing things, your modus operandi. So it's very important that you be honest and have integrity in this position, because if your life and your ideas are not in alignment, you are the only one who is really able to course correct. And that is absolutely the responsibility of the region of the land. You are the region of the lands of yourself, and you must conduct those lands according to the ethos and to the ethics and to the philosophy and to the purpose of your reignedom, of your lands, of your territory. And you need to take up the space that is yours. So if you feel small in your existence, then you're taking up somebody else's space. Wherever your space is, you will feel full, fulfilled, whole, present, participative. So on that note, I thank you for being with me. Absolute love and honor and caring to you. I'll let this dog take us out to remind us to be loyal, to remind us to have compassion, to remind us to be faithful, to remind us to be a willing participant and actively engaged in the interest of our focus. A dog is going to give its full focus to the thing that it loves, whether that's a ball or whether that's you or whether it's food. And we also can exhibit this behavior to our benefit. Absolutely. So much love to you this July. I hope you're all so well and taking care of yourselves. I thank you for being with me here every month, and ultimately my love and appreciation to you at all times. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon at the end of this month, actually during this month. And, may you find what you need to fulfill yourself, and may you allow yourself and give yourself the permission to be the version of yourself that you most prefer, who does the things that you most prefer that they do, so that your idea of yourself and how you are received in the world is truly in alignment. My love to you. I'll talk to you later. Take care.